There will be no raid mode or mercenaries mode in this game. I guess the closest you can compare Mercenaries to is Fourth Survivor and Tofu mode. But there will be no multiplayer or anything. We have decided to focus on the single player experience.
Hello everyone, Sigma Later here, and welcome back to my channel. We've got some Resident Evil 2 Remake news to discuss, so let's just jump straight into it. As you saw from the clip at the start of this video, it has been confirmed that there will be no Mercenaries and no raid mode, and also no online whatsoever. For me personally, this is great news. I don't play online very rarely, so it's not a big deal for me. And as fun as Mercenaries and Raid Mode was, I do feel like their inclusion in later titles has compromised the quality of the games overall. Resident Evil 5 is it's okay, but it's a kind of a dull game. And Resident Evil 6 is just awful. Everything about it is terrible. I would be happy if 6 was just completely ignored from the canon and would just burn in the fires of hell, right? We don't need that black mark on the series anymore. And the Revelations games as well, they were always kind of meh. I mean, they were good and it's like, yeah, they brought back Barry, Claire, Jill, but at the same time, they weren't good games, or well, they weren't good Resident Evil games in my mind. They were just okay. There was no real new information in this stream. Kat sort of reiterated that Hunk and Tofu would be back in the Fourth Survivor mode. However, she was quite coy when somebody asked about Extreme Battle mode. All she really said in regards to that is that there were no announcements for it as of yet, so that may be something they will announce later on. But she did definitively say no Mercenaries, no raid, no online. They're focusing solely on the single player campaign, and I think that's the best news ever. That's not the only thing I wanted to talk about today. After Gamescom there was a lot of information that's been released, and since I've been out of the loop with my PC being delayed in its arrival, I haven't been able to give my thoughts on them, so we're just going to go through some of the new info now, so we're all caught up and up to date. This is an article on Rely on Horror. They've got a lot of great info here. I'm not going to go over their thoughts and opinions. If you want to read what they think, I'll leave a link to the article in the description. I'm going to focus mainly on the information that they've reported on. So first up, Capcom optimised the tempo of the game to be able to present the story more dramatically. Therefore, some events were changed or added. For example, the arrival of Chief Irons after the first encounter with Birkin, and he will stick around longer, becoming increasingly more unpleasant than in the original game. So this pretty much confirms what I suspected was going to happen in the last video I made, that Chief Irons was going to have a much larger role, and that we're going to be seeing a much darker side to this already dark and disturbing character. And yet changing the events around again, something I thought they would do, which pretty much states that old school fans like myself, we can't use our prior knowledge to predict what's going to happen and just blind run the game. There are going to be a lot of curveballs that Capcom are going to throw at us in this. So, like they've been heavily emphasising, it's going to be new but familiar. So it's got the nostalgia to please the old school fans, and it's going to be something new and fresh for the newcomers to the series. So they've basically done what I wanted them to do, almost to the T. They've taken the base game and expanded on it. Okay, we haven't got the fixed camera angles, but you know what? I've played the demo. I am very happy with how the game plays. I can live without the fixed cameras. But still, if they surprise us with a fixed camera mode, I'll be very happy. Other characters are having their looks modified. With Sherry, they wanted to underline the fact that she was raised in a wealthy family but is lonely and kind of weird. Whereas with Ada, they want to move away from the red cocktail dress and into something more subdued and realistic. The devs have also seen the reactions to Claire's new design and look, and they stress that they have worked in this regard. They hope players will like the results once they see more of her in motion, hear her speaking, and witness her fight against all that Raccoon City will throw at her. I never really had a problem with Claire's redesign. I've been a fan since the beginning. I love Claire's original look with the short shorts, the hot pants. But again, I was like 12, 13 when I first played the game, so you know, puberty was kicking in. I was starting to notice girls for the first time. Woo! So yeah, having a biker chick with her legs exposed was obviously had a certain appeal to me. But when you're riding into town on a motorbike, you're not going to be wearing hot pants. You're just not. So I completely understand why they wanted to give her a more realistic attire for riding a motorbike. And you know what? I like the new Claire. I really like her new design. All the elements are there. She's got the ponytail. She's got the Made in Heaven logo. It's still in red or reddy pink. So she's still got the colours that we associate with Claire. And really, her look isn't that different really from her Revelations 2 outfit, and even her Code Veronica outfit. You know, it is Claire. I don't get the dislike for it, but with regards to Ada, we've only seen one shot of Ada, and we don't see a lot of her because she's in the shadows, but we can see she's wearing a trench coat and she's wearing high heels. For me, Ada's look in the original wasn't too ridiculous. I know she's a spy, but Ada has always been a sort of glamorous character. You know, she takes pride in her appearance. She knows she's attractive and she uses that to her advantage. Just look at the way she manipulates Leon, and I'm sure she uses her femininity, shall we say, to manipulate people like Wesker. I have no doubt that she manipulated John in the first Resident Evil to get close to him so she could get the T-virus samples or whatever. That's just who Ada is. She's a spy. Her number one priority is to achieve her goals, and she will use any methods at her disposal in order to do that. And we've seen her mindset in Resident Evil 4 in her Separate Ways storyline. She doesn't think twice about using Leon and Ashley to create a diversion so she can achieve her goals. And she does the same in Resident Evil 6. She's glamorous, she knows she is, she uses it to her advantage. So I'm sure whatever they do with Ada's redesign will be great, because I've loved everything they've done for Leon and Claire. And Sherry as well. You know, she actually looks like a little schoolgirl rather than the Japanese image of a schoolgirl from the original. But we'll just have to wait and see. We're supposed to be getting a huge information dump at the Tokyo Game Show, so hopefully we'll see something then. The original soundtrack is part of the deluxe edition and also available as DLC. It will be the original soundtrack but will work differently. In the original, the music would play according to the rooms you enter or at key situations. Now, if you play with the original OST, it changes according to the situation. You can swap the soundtrack in the middle of the game. Also, there's no title call by default, but with the original OST enabled, the Resident Evil title will be back too. Okay, cool. I'm a little disappointed that there won't be a Resident Evil title call for the remake, like an updated version, but you know, it's not necessary. It worked. Resident Evil 7 worked without it. I know a lot of people like to hate on it for some reason. I loved 7. I thought 7 was a great game. Sure, in terms of replayability, it doesn't offer a lot, but in terms of its story and its iconic characters, especially like Jack and Marguerite, it's a great game. I love it. I'm not sure how the original soundtrack is going to work, because as it said, it changed according to what room you're going into. So it had that's why one of the reasons why we had the loading screens. You know, as the doors are opening, it was loading in the next soundtrack, the next environment, so everything would run smoothly. In this remake, there are no loading screens. You know, you walk through the doors, you run up the stairs, and you climb ladders without any loading screens. So I suspect it will probably be like a fade in, fade out situation. Like if you're in the main hall, you'll hear that classic main hall theme, and then as you enter like the west corridor or the east corridor, the main hall theme will sort of fade out and the theme for the hallways will sort of fade in. That's what I think will happen. I'm probably way off, but that's just my thinking. There are no new enemies, including Crimson Heads, but zombies have received a ton of attention. They thought a lot about how they worked best mechanically and made sure they looked disturbing. During combat, their movements are designed to unnerve the player. They are also way harder to kill than before and can even play dead, then stand up again. The player should never be 100% sure if a zombie is dead or not. Now, I've played the demo. The zombies are really, really disturbing. I love what they have done with them. For me, because I'd seen the demo so many times beforehand, I really wanted to make sure the zombies I came face to face with were down. So the first zombie you meet in the demo is after Elliot gets ripped in half and that cop zombie bursts through the door. I pretty much put an entire clip into his face and he still got back up. And I've seen playthroughs where zombies have had half their heads blown off by shotguns and they've still come at you. It is a horrifying image. I've seen a zombie with half a face come at you, ready to tear your neck out. I love that focus, because as the games progressed, the zombies just sort of became a non-threat, really. You just pumped them full of bullets and then you made your way around them. Hell, in Resident Evil 2 and 3, you could probably get through the games without shooting a single zombie. You can just run around them most of the time. I'm disappointed that Crimson Heads won't be making a return. I thought they were great in the first remake. Because at the time that the first remake came out, I wasn't all that keen on pursuing news about upcoming games, and so because of that I didn't know about the Crimson Heads. So when I first played the first remake, I thought it was really cool how the zombie bodies didn't disappear after you killed them. Got the bloody fright of my life when all of a sudden they changed and started slashing my face off. They were absolutely brilliant, so I'm disappointed that they won't be included and there will be no new enemies like Lisa. Lisa was another great addition to the series. But while I'm disappointed, I'm not exactly angry about it, because Resident Evil 2 has a great roster of enemies anyway. You've got zombies, lickers, Cerberus, Plant 43s, you've got G, Mr. X, crows. You know, there's a great roster of enemies in there. So it doesn't really need any inclusion of additional enemies. So yeah, nothing really to comment on that. With this game, they want to show that the third-person view is well suited to a horror game and that the RE engine can create beautiful but also disturbing visuals. Meanwhile, using binaural sound design to wear down and unsettle the player. I'm fine with this. Sound is a very effective tool when it comes to horror. So the original Silent Hill games really mastered this. You know, just random noises where you wouldn't expect them, or when you least expect them, really can up the tension brilliantly. However, the PT demo for the PS4 was fantastic for its use of sound. And then you got games like Outlast as well that really knew how to utilise noises, and Resident Evil 7 as well did a fantastic job. And as I said, I've already played the demo, so I know that they've already got this. What we've heard so far, it works. They've really worked hard to make sure the game is not just a gore fest, but also atmospheric, and you know, it's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. With regards to the third-person view, yeah, when the remake was first announced, I was determined that it should have the fixed camera angle. But after playing the demo, I'm totally on board with the third person, with the OTS camera. Because unlike with 4, 5 and 6, it actually works. The camera responds. And it's quick in its responsiveness. So you shoot one enemy, you can very quickly move the camera around to take another one out if it's coming towards you. So I've got no complaints about the camera. There will be no story DLC, and the deluxe content won't be sold separately. This one is disappointing. I was hoping for like a separate ways mission for Ada. Having said that, looking at the wording, there will be no story DLC. So maybe there is an Ada section already included. So you won't have to download it, it's already on the disc. But that could just be wishful thinking on my part. And deluxe edition content won't be sold separately. So I'm guessing this is in regards to costumes. So if you want the Elsa Walker costume and the weapons that come with it, you're going to have to buy the deluxe version. It's not a big problem for me. I've already ordered it twice. I've got the deluxe version on the PS4 and on Steam. I'm not really sure what to make of this information, because I'm glad they're not going to get hyper focused on DLC, because DLC can be a bit of a mixed bag. Some companies abuse the hell out of DLC by hiding everything behind a paywall. EA. Well, but other companies, they offer like really, really legitimately good DLC. Rockstar, Rocksteady. That is how you do DLC properly, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm disappointed that there's going to be no story DLC. But at the end of the day, if this game is every bit as good as I hope it and think it's going to be, there'll be no need for it. The clock tower area is new, and there's more Raccoon City to explore even after the police station. Yes, this is exactly what I was hoping for. More of Raccoon City to see. So I'm guessing this is going to be more of the streets, one of my favourite areas in the original, and new areas to explore. So this game's going to be significantly bigger than the original. I know when this first image of this cocktail first got released, my first thought was Resident Evil 3. It's like, oh my god, maybe we're visiting areas from the third game in this one, which would be pretty cool. But no, this sounds like it's a completely new area, which is even better as far as I'm concerned. I was like, we've got more to explore. I'm really going to be taking my time to do some exploring when I play this game. I want to take it all in. So when I get round to doing my playthrough, it's not just going to be simply me going from A to B to finish the game. We are going to really immerse ourselves in Raccoon City. I cannot wait. I think yeah, that is the end of the information we've got there. I'm really excited, very excited. This is definitely the game I'm looking forward to the most. And the more information we get, the more excited I get. But I've run out of things to say for now, so instead of rambling, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this, guys. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and be sure to ding that bell icon to stay notified of any future uploads. I've been Sigma Later. This has been me rambling, and I will talk to you, and I will catch you next time. Take care now.